Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Was a Smart Prodigy. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was from the two greatest clans, and enjoy that guys. And later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto's a Badass Genius. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And also on this channel I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was a God Amongst Man. So stay tuned for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto and his group dealt with Orochimaru as Naruto let Kurama take over and release a blast that ripped through the three gates, the demon gates that Orochimaru summoned. The blast exploded up on the air as Orochimaru then came out of the ground, but Naruto was swift enough to bypass that as they dealt severe blows to Orochimaru. When the entire place cleared up, Orochimaru was nowhere to be seen. But Naruto knew that he wasn't dead, but at least they got Kabuto. On their way back, Sakura noticed something about Naruto as she wanted to punch him. He was a clone. As the real Naruto went and found Yujito as she was currently on a mission. After, she went out, leaving Naruto behind as she was going to deal with the mission at the caves. She took a while to get back, so Naruto started to sense as he sensed two other strong chakra signatures. After sensing those, Naruto quickly went over there as she was facing off against the Akatsuki. With Naruto there, the both of them fled Hidan and Kakazu as the leader wanted to deal with Naruto. Meanwhile, the masked man was talking to the leader as Naruto was incredibly powerful, and to defeat him, Pain will have to undergo surgery. As Hidan and Kakazu report back, as Pain told them to go after the four tails. He will capture the two tails and nine tails when the time comes, seeing off their close relationship. Naruto then went to Kumo with Yujito as he challenged the Raikage if he wins. Yujito come back to Konoha with him. If the Raikage wins, he will stay and become a Kumo Shinobi as the both of them battle. As the Raikage was surprised at how strong Naruto was, but in the end the Raikage knocked Naruto out. Naruto woke up in a bed as he was rubbing his neck from the Raikage's hit as Yujito came in the room. As the real Naruto emerged from her shadows. Naruto didn't want to go all out because it would be a shift in power if a Konoha ninja can defeat a Kage of another village just like that. So Naruto did not go all out, he was holding back. Because with the Kyuubi power and along with his sage art, he was able to defeat the Raikage, but he was holding back. So he made a wooden clone fight it all along. But he didn't know if the Raikage noticed, or if he didn't really care. As Yujito was given permission to go with Naruto and live at Konoha, as Naruto is ecstatic for that. As the day passed, as Naruto arrived to see Sakura and Konohamaru at the gates. As Yujito showed Sakura the papers, Sakura was surprised. When they went to the office, Navi told them that this was already set up, as it was an agreement between her and the Raikage. We then skip to the cave, as Pain is going to go under surgery now. It will take 1 week, as he made a vow that he's coming for him, Senju Naruto. So yeah guys, that was basically the last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. It's been 4 days since Naruto arrival in Konoha with Yujito. Life in Konoha did not change. Yujito arrival, she didn't get treated weird by any of the Konoha shinobis. giving her Kumo background. It seems like Naruto repetition supersedes any bad repetition for her. Even in the all-seeing eyes of the Hyuga clan, being Konoha pride and last of the famed Senju clan, who possessed Mokiton had its perks. Being in a relationship had its perks as well, as Naruto took advantage of that every day since Yujito's arrival. Including right now, Yujito was getting dressed as she was in his room putting on her black pants as she noticed Naruto stepped in. "Naruto, are you ready to go to the gate?" She then turned to face him. "We can't do that right now, we're going to be late," she said. As Naruto stood there, as he had on a helmet and a shield in his hand, to the gate. "Oh, I forgot," he said. "Well, I got this outfit ready, seeing that I got the helmet, and the shield, and the sword," she said. As she looked down and grabbed his sword. "Well, we got a few minutes," she said. 10 minutes later at the village gates. "Where the hell is Naruto?" questioned Tsunade as she was at the gate. Lounging on the gate walls, reading his orange book was Kakashi. Kakashi was actually on time today, due to Tsunade telling him that he must be at the gates 4 hours earlier, prompting him to still arrive 5 minutes later, even with a 4-hour grace period. "I'm sure he will be here soon, don't worry," said Kakashi as he flipped a page. "He's actually coming right now, and just on time." As Naruto and Yujito arrived in a Sunshin, present and accounted for batch, Naruto said, as he was dressed in his standard Konoha outfit along with his flap jacket. Yujito stood next to him as she was wearing a V-neck blue shirt with black pants and black sandals. "Good morning, Hokage Dano. It seems we weren't late, thankfully," said Yujito with a smile, as Tsunade smiled back. "Good morning to you. And you too, Naruto. I'm glad to see the both of you make it. I was a little worried there." As Tsunade looked out to see several figures approaching Konoha. "Look sharp now, here they come." "And Naruto, why do you have a helmet on?" As Naruto quickly grabbed the helmet and threw it in the bushes. About a minute later, the group that was approaching Konoha finally made it. "Hello, I am Konoha 5th Hokage, Tsunade Senju. May Dono, it's a pleasure to meet you," said Tsunade, extending a hand. May happily placed a hand out as she shook the blonde Hokage in front of her. "The pleasure is all mine, Tsunade Dano. I am just grateful that you extended this alliance to us and Kiri. And for that, on behalf of Kiri and being the 5th Mizukage, I thank you. You know, Naruto, your mate is attracted in many ways, but that human over there is downright beautiful." As Naruto just glanced at me, as he didn't want to make it look too obvious that he was staring. "I would kill her so hard," said Kurama. "Yeah, I heard you on that. Wait, kill her? You know what? Never mind," Naruto said, as he saw the rest of them greeting Tsunade, Kakashi, and Yujito. With me, there were a group of 4 people. 2 of them Naruto recognized instantly. It was Zabuza and Haku. "Damn," Naruto said, "Haku has grown, and without her chest bindings on, I see a C cup. Damn it." "Curse you, Jiraiya," Naruto said. "Doesn't seem weird to you though," said Kurama. "Huh?" Naruto said. "All of the most beautiful women in the world seem to be some of the strongest kunoichis as well. Face it, Yujito and Tsunade are powerful, and I'm certain these 2 are as well. But that girl from the crypto analysis group, Shio, is not a dime as you would call it, and she was definitely one of the weakest kunoichis I've ever seen." "That's cold, Kram, but it's weird, isn't it? It must be a conspiracy or something." Naruto was then nudged by Yujito, stopping his talking with Kurama. "Naruto, you're not going to shake his hand?" Yujito asked, as Naruto looked to see the other members of Kira group, with their hands extended. "Sorry about that," Naruto said as he extended his hand out. "I'm Naruto Senju," Naruto said, shaking the first guy's hand. "It's no worries. I'm Kojiro." As Kojiro looked the same age as Naruto, as he had the twin sword on his back. As Naruto noticed a sword and the sharp teeth. "You're a member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist?" he asked. "Well, yes, in that way," Kojiro said. "I am one of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen, this is my blade." As Naruto could tell that he was shy and a bit timid. "Well, that's cool," Naruto said. "I would love to spar with you someday with your stay here. It would be cool to see what you can do." As Kojiro awkwardly nodded back. The man next to Kojiro shook his head. "Kids these days have no respect for their elders. I mean, back in my day, we used to shake hands with the elder shinobis before speaking to younger ones." As a sign of respect, the man said. "My apologies, sir, but I do recognize you," Naruto said. "You're a member of Kira Anvu Hunter Division, and one of the heroes of the war against Yagra. Ayo, if I'm not mistaken." "It's a pleasure to meet you," Naruto said, as Ayo looked impressed at the young man in front of him. My, it seems the younger generation does have a few good ninjas. It's good that you know your history, Naruto Senju, but then again, information is one of the ninja best tools. I'm certain you know of that, said Ayo. As Naruto nodded, while Naruto was talking to Kojiro and Ayo, Yujito walked over to Haku and started to engage her in conversation. Hi, I'm Yujito. As the both of them shake hands. Nice to meet you. I am Haku Yuki. I heard so much about you from Naruto letters. Yujito arched her eyebrow. No, it's not like that. Naruto was the go-between me and another ninja. But I asked him about his life, and you were a lot in it. He's really into you. Is he really? Said Yujito, as Haku reached into the backpack that she held. I have the letters with me. Want me to read what he said? As Yujito nodded. While this was going on, Mei and Tsunade were talking. So Zabuza figured that he would talk to the only person of the group he deemed okay. Kakashi, he said. Zabuza, said Kakashi with an eye smile. Seemed you become quite the shinobi since our last meeting. Zabuza smirked under the bandage. One of Kiri Elite Jonin if you want to get technical. And also the leader of the next 7 Ninja Swordsman. It's quite the accomplishment, said Zabuza, as he looked over at Naruto talking to Kojiro. And it seems like, even though you haven't changed, the blonde-haired brat has gotten quite famous and tall since the last time we met. Seems like he has, said Kakashi. But it wasn't because of me, that was all him. As Kakashi then looked at Haku, it seemed like she has grown up well as well. So she has. We've been together for 15 years now, and finally, she seems happy. No more running, no more dangerous missions for money. Well, kind of. We have a home in Kier and it's only getting better, said Zabuza, as Kakashi flipped a page in his book. So it seems. Don't go tearing up on me now, Zabuza. I don't think I have a tissue on me, said Kakashi. Zabuza was about to say something before Tsunade spoke, ending the conversations. Well, now that we are all acquainted, I'm sure those from Kieri are tired from their long travel. Now I can get you all set up for your stay this evening. As all of the surrounding shinobis nodded their head in agreement. Great, Naruto, if you will be so kind to show them to their rooms. And we will begin our talks at 10 AM the day after tomorrow. Once my council members return from their meeting with the daimyo. Until then, said Tsunade. If those from Kier will follow me, Naruto said, as he led them into one of Konoha's most luxurious hotels. On his way, Naruto spotted a hawk as it flew through Konoha and landed on Hashirama's head. He smiled seeing that. The San, Kumo, and now Kirin. One village at a time, Jiji. I'll get that peace that you desire. He thought fondly of his grandfather, Hashirama, as he watched a hawk fly off. Meanwhile, at Naruto's apartment at the same time, a small white snake slithered inside with a seal on it. The snake was actually one of Sasuke's summon, and it was made its way to Naruto so he could hand him the note. However, that plan was stopped as a sword pierced through the back of the snake and the note. Holding on to the sword was one of Konoha elders, Danzo Shamira. Sorry Sasuke, but to be honest, I need you gone. It will be easier to control Orochimaru if you have been absorbed by him. Especially considering that cursed seal planted on you. And with his help, I'll be able to take over Konoha and finally bring peace to this world by uniting all nations under Konoha roof. As one of his root agents cleaned up the snake's remains, making it appear like it never entered Naruto's home, Orochimaru will be able to handle Naruto Senju after absorbing the Uchiha, and me and my root agents can handle Konoha. Then all I have to do is become his Hokage and give up test subjects for Orochimaru. But probably I'll kill him as well once we dealt with the Senju boy. No one will be in charge but me. And with that, Danzo left without a trace. 2 days later, Hokage's tower. It was morning time, approximately 9:30, when Tsunade received a knock at her door. Come in, said Tsunade. As Danzo entered, Ah, Danzo, you're early, she said. Danzo closed the door as he took a seat in front of Tsunade. It's been and always been my personal preference to show up 30 minutes earlier. That's how Root used to do it. Nothing like that Kakashi Hatake of yours. Wonder why he separated like that, saying that Kakashi was mine, Tsunade thought, as she went back to her paperwork. Off the record at the moment since we're both alone. Have you heard back from Sasuke? It should be about time to go after Orochimaru. Not yet, Danzo said, though it is true, Orochimaru should be trying to take over him soon. Unless Sasuke has switched sides. Well, no, that couldn't be possible. I personally trained him, Danzo said, as Tsunade nodded. True, and what Naruto said from his most recent meeting of him, he was asking for help, so it's unlikely that you become a traitor. You didn't send out a squad to already get Sasuke, did you, she asked, because you know how much Naruto wanted to be a part of it. It's impressive that he hadn't told anyone about Root in the first place. Of course not. If and when we head out to retrieve Sasuke and end Orochimaru, Naruto will be the leader of that mission. But only if you deem it, said Danzo. As Tsunade smiled. Great, I'm just glad there is no misunderstandings here. Because if you did attempt to botch the retrieval of one of my ninjas, for your own personal gain or any reason for that matter, I would lock you away in a cell. And end your program, said Tsunade, in a stern tone. Danzo never showed any reaction on the outside, but internally, he was thinking about the words. The way she speaks, it's as if she knows. But that's impossible, I cover all my tracks, and plus. But Naruto Shin in the room with Yujito. That boy is still here. If Tsunade knew, she would have sent him immediately, seeing that it took 2 days to get there. Even at his speed, so if he hasn't left by now, there's no way he can get there in time. Hey Bacha, Naruto said that smile. As he turned his face towards Danzo, his smile immediately dropped. Elder Danzo, Naruto said. Hello, Tsunade Dano, said Yujito with a smile. As Tsunade smiled at her 2 favorite blondes. Glad you 2 could make it on time, said Tsunade. As Yujito and Tsunade started engaging in a conversation. Hello Naruto. I see you're here for the meeting, Danzo said. Of course. I had a hand in making sure this alliance went through. So Tsunade Bachan asked me if I wanted to come. And I was going to defy my Hokage. I would never do something like that, Naruto said. As Danzo narrowed his eyes slightly, he still has animosity against me, since I sent those root agents to stop him all those years ago, Danzo thought before answering. Neither would I, and everything I do is for Konoha, and I'm sure your Hokage understand. That is why she has sided with me in the past, and would likely side with me in the future. It seems he's referring to the moment when Tsunade sent out that ragtag group of rookies to stop Sasuke and those ninja, when she could have sent out better ninjas, said Kurama. It would seem so, Naruto said. I just can't wait for the day Tsunade make me kick his ass. Yes, definitely. I want to take a crack at that guy ever since I was in your mother, said Kurama. Oh, don't worry, I'll make sure you take a crack at him. Wait, what do you mean by in my mother, Naruto said. As Kurama phrased the words, we. As Kurama simply chuckled. There was then a knock on the door. As Naruto opened the door and was met by Shizune. Shizune, he said, as he grabbed her into a bear hug. I haven't seen you forever. Where have you been? He asked. Well, Naruto, you would see me if you take the correct way into Tsunade-sama office. Since you go through the window all the time, you basically bypass me and all the workers here. You're trying to make me lose the bet with Jiraiya-sensei, aren't you? How much is he paying you to make me feel bad about not seeing you? Shizune shrugged. You think Jiraiya-sama would grow so low to pay me to see which one of you would go through the window the longest and make you feel bad about not seeing me? Naruto nodded. You're right, she said. Is it working? Yes, Naruto said. It is. As Shizune just smiled as she looked towards Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, Maid Dano is in the conference room waiting for you along with the other elders. Tsunade stood up. If you will all follow me to the conference room, she said. At the same time, somewhere in the land of grass, Orochimaru chuckled. You really think I wouldn't have a plan to stop you? As he looked at the downed Sasuke in front of him. Along Sasuke's body was black markings as he was in extreme pain, looking up at Orochimaru's Sharingan. This is Danzo. Curse seal. Is he in on this? Sasuke thought, but the curse seal was too powerful for him to move. Of course Danzo is in on this, said Orochimaru. He figured that I'd be less of a threat inside your body than you would be. So we both can go along with his plans. All I have to do is stop Naruto, and that would be easy to accomplish in your body. And be sure to know none of your help is coming. Danzo made sure to stop all that. Not to mention the poison in your system was designed by Kabuto before he was captured. You're not going anywhere. Sasuke struggled some more, but he was completely at Orochimaru's mercy as he could see his end coming fast. In Konoha, as Danzo was approaching the conference, a small rat walked past him in the hallway, as it was an ink rat, as it then dispelled into a group of words. Danzo-sama, that isn't the real Naruto. The Mizukage 2 young shinobis are not there as well. Danzo looked up at Naruto in front of him as he couldn't understand what his root agent was getting to. As it then hit him like a bag of bricks. He's a wood clone. As Naruto then turned and gave Danzo a big grin before turning back and went into the conference room. And he took the Mizukage shinobi to help him. Damn it, Danzo thought. But he acted like nothing happened outside with Orochimaru. As Orochimaru stepped forward, he prepared to begin the ritual to absorb Sasuke's body, when a loud explosion went off that ripped through the wall that the room where Sasuke and Orochimaru were in. As Naruto stepped inside, hot damn, I rock, he said, as he looked around for some laugh, but he got none. 4 figures stood behind him as 2 of them looked uninterested. But I mean hot because of the fiery explosion and the rock. You know what, forget it, he said. Sasuke, came 2 of the voices. One with pink hair and one with black hair. Sorry Naruto, me and Kojo thought it was funny but it was just bad timing. Given Sasuke condition and Orochimaru stand over him like that, said Haku. As Naruto nodded, I understand. At least you 2 are with me, he said. As Naruto saw Orochimaru took off down the hallway, as Naruto went after him. Being that, Naruto and the 2 missed Shinobi disappeared, he left Sasuke alone with Sakura and the other figure. That figure was a female, as it was Kurosaki. Kurosaki-chan. Sakura, said Sasuke, addressing them weakly. This is down to Fuinjutsu, I could break it, but with the poison in my system, it is rather difficult. Did you get the antidote? As Sakura pulled out a vial with black liquid inside. After a long session of mindscaping, Inoichi found out the contents of the poison. Making the antidote was easy after that, she said, as she injected it with a needle into Sasuke. As Sasuke looked over at Kurosaki, as she smiled at him. Hi, she said. As Sasuke responded a weak hi. I knew you suck. As a shinobi, she said. How could you let someone get the drop on you like that? I thought you were the almighty Uchiha from Konoha, last of his breed. If this is the best you got, I think I might be the better dancing partner. Sasuke laughed weakly as a needle stabbed into his back. You weren't saying that when I kicked you and your team ass a year ago in the land of Earth, Sasuke said. As Kurosaki's face scrunched up in slight embarrassment. Please, I wasn't the one leading the mission. Nor did you fight fairly. If it was a straight up 1-on-1, I would have melted your Uchiha ass. As Sasuke riled up his chakra after the poison was out of his system as he breathed the Fuinjutsu. Kurosaki was then swept off her feet as she smiled at him and landed a gentle kiss on his lips, until it was broken by a call from Sakura. Sasuke, not to ruin your reunion, but Orochimaru is still alive and attempting to run. So if you could finish that after we finish him, that could be great. Sasuke placed Kurosaki on the ground, as he nodded, as they took off down the corner, as they came to see Naruto and the 2 Mist Shinobis fighting off against Edo Tensei reincarnations. Sasuke recognized both of the Edo Tenseis, as he saw one of them, and tears came to his eye. Mom, Sasuke said, as Mikoto turned. Sasuke, my baby, you have grown. I guess this Edo Tensei has his blessing. I get to see my baby boy all grown up. As Sasuke then heard a brutal crashing, as he watched Naruto slam his father straight into the ground. Seal, Naruto said as he placed his hand on Sasuke's father's face. Sorry about your father, Sasuke, but you know how this goes. The only way to stop the Edo Tensei is either seal them, or make the user dispel them, or make them reach nirvana so their souls are descending from their trapped bodies. It's just that I never guessed your mom would be stronger than your dad. Together, they were quite troublesome. I was quite the accomplished Kunoichi before I became a mother, Naruto. I was also next in line to lead the Uchiha clan, but since we are a patriotic clan, Fukaku was given the right to be a leader. As Naruto arched his eyebrows as he was impressed at Mikoto's achievements. Well, at least you can coordinate with anyone. It should be easier to stop you now. As Orochimaru laughed. You underestimate me and my power. I just need to get enough time so I can summon the next body. One I'm sure you will know well. Orochimaru slammed his hands together. Edo Tensei, he said. As a coffin came from the ground, but this one was different, as it was blood red in color. As Mikoto jumped back up to Orochimaru's side, as the coffin fell, the lid of it. As Orochimaru chuckled, if you thought Fukaku and Mikoto were tough as a team, just imagine what these 2 can do. Actually, don't imagine because you have to face them right now. As Naruto saw the person's face, only feeling her chakra as a baby, it made his knees feel weak. Mom, Naruto said, as Kushina's eyes opened, as she looked around, before her eyes dropped on Naruto, as she narrowed her eyes. Naruto? As she saw tears in his eyes. My, how have you grown? As Kushina then turned. You rotten bastard, she said. I should have known this would have happened, as she glared at Orochimaru. Of course, my dear Kushina-chan. And I will have you know your son is quite a nuisance to me. So why not have the person who brought him into this world to be the one to take him out, Orochimaru said that smile. As Kushina launched at Naruto, as Mikoto launched at Sasuke, as Naruto caught his mother's fist in his palm, as he skidded back a bit to the power of the strike. Sasuke merely parried Mikoto's fist, as she continued on past him, cracking the ground slightly. The mother and son duos then began a fast taijutsu battle, as fists were exchanged from mothers and sons. While this was going on, the other 4 members of Naruto group was wondering what to do. Should we help them or should we go after Orochimaru, Kotaro said. Naruto jumped away from his mother as Sasuke leaped back and landed beside Naruto. Don't worry guys, me and Sasuke will handle our mothers. You guys just go and grab the other 3 people who will be joining us. As Sasuke reached into his back pocket, here's your coordinates, meet us at a rendezvous point and we will head out from there. As a team of 4 took it and head off to the first person, who wasn't far away, who was trapped in water. Orochimaru looked interested at the 2 shinobis handing out instructions. They must have forgotten about me. I could just leave at any time, or I could stay and hope Sasuke get injured enough so I can take over his body. No, I can always get Sasuke later. I can always find another body to take over in the meantime. Orochimaru then turned, but a wooden slippers slammed into his face as he was sent blasting through the room that the group just came from. Glad to see I'm not late to the party. Killing my own teammate. I'm about to check that off of the list today. Jiraiya-sensei, we left him just for you. Jiraiya nodded as he took off. Just be careful, kids. Your mothers were no pushover. At one point, they were deemed to be deadly, like Snadeheim. Even deadlier as a duo, Jiraiya said, as he took off down the corridor. Naruto and Sasuke turned their heads back to their respective mothers. Though I don't like the circumstances, I did want to meet you, Mom. I heard so much about you, Naruto said. Well, I hope you find a way to stop me because I can't control my movement, she said. Here I come, she said as she sprinted back out at him. Naruto sprinted towards her to meet her head on. As the both of them clashed as Naruto blocked both her arms. As Naruto wasn't expected, a golden chain to come out of the back of her head. Naruto, those are your mother chakra chains. They have the power to suppress chakra. Do not get struck by one of those. As Naruto jumped to dodge, 3 more chains came from her back and were dancing menacingly behind her. As Kushina started to lash out with the chains behind her. Mom is so good at taijutsu. It's scary, Naruto thought, as he continued to dodge her assault. Meanwhile, Mikoto and Sasuke were locking eyes with each other. In the real world, it appeared like they were just looking at each other, but they were having a battle with genjutsu. Eventually, Sasuke started to speed through hand signs, as Mikoto did the same. Fire style fireball jutsu, as the both of them released a large fireball that clashed in the center. But then Sasuke saw Mikoto release more intense flames from her mouth, increasing her fireball size. It was now twice bigger than his. As his mother fireball started to push back against his, but Naruto flashed beside him, water style, water encampment wall, as he spat out an enormous stream of water that doused the fire that was coming towards Sasuke. That was close, Sasuke said. My mom is basically the same as me. Only better though, she was beating me down in our genjutsu fight, and there was nothing I could do about it. Then, the fire jutsu just now. What about yours, Sasuke asked. Well, I'm just a clone. Boss is over there getting murdered by mom. He can't catch a break. He created 4 of us, but I was the only one who survived, and tried to formulate a plan. Maybe fighting together is better than alone, said the clone. As Mikoto went through hand signs. Maybe you're right. No, we just have to tell Naruto. Got it covered, the clone said as he pushed Sasuke out of the way, as the fire jutsu incinerated him. As Mikoto placed her hand on her hip, as she looked at Sasuke as he got back up. Didn't anyone ever told you to not take your eyes off your opponent? As the real Naruto flashed beside him with several cuts on his shirt, but nothing that actually hit him. Dude, this sucks, Naruto said. You're right, but your clone had the right idea. Change of mothers wouldn't help either. We need to work together. Kushina landed next to Mikoto with her chains, danced behind her. Let's do this, said Naruto, as he went through hand signs. Wood style, wood locking wall, as he surrounded himself and Sasuke in a dome of interlocking pillars. Kushina and Mikoto appeared as they smashed a hole right through it. Upon doing so, they realized nothing was in the dome. Only a seal and a rake could be seen on the ground that spread out under the both of them. Wood style, summoning, as a huge phoenix fly trap sprung from the ground in an effort to eat Mikoto and Kushina. Both of them jumped up, however, as Mikoto fired a huge fireball straight into the mouth of the plant. The plant swallowed the fireball as it started to burn from the inside. Immediately, white smoke covered the area. The plant continued to burn to a crisp as Mikoto and Kushina came out of the smoke cloud. Upon descending, however, they were met in midair by Sasuke. Double Shidori, as he pierced Mikoto and Kushina at the same time with his Shidoris in both hands. He then pulled out his hand as a branch snagged him and pulled him away from the two. Boom! Both Kushina and Mikoto exploded in the air as they were just a shadow clone, the explosive type. Mom must have made the switch while they were in the smoke cloud, said Naruto, bringing Sasuke down. As Naruto's arm morphed back into his normal hand as he sensed him behind him. Sasuke, this is going to be a long fight. I'm sorry Naruto, I can't help it, said Kushina, as Naruto nodded as he understood. Mikoto smiled though. It seems you are right, Kushina. Naruto and Sasuke did grow to be friends. It's too bad we have to fight each other though. Meanwhile, with Kojiro and Haku, as the group split up, as Sakura went to the South hideout to get to their objective, and Kurosaki went to the North hideout, while Haku and Kojiro took to the third member on Sasuke's list. As the both of them came up to a door that was bolted shut, Haku stopped at the door as she looked back at Kojiro behind her. She placed a hand on the door as ice started to spread out all around it. Feeling as if she froze enough at the door, she backed away. Kojiro, she said, as Kojiro pulled his sword, as he held it with both hands. As the bandage around it started to unravel, as he swinged it towards the door. Hiramakurai, release, he said, as chakra coated all over it before it turned the shape of hammer. As he blew the door to pieces. The both of them stepped in the room, as a voice could be heard. Who's there? As two eyes were shown in one of the water domes. Wait, Haku? And Kojiro? Sugetsu, you're here, said Haku. Meanwhile, the South hideout with Sakura. What the hell do you mean I have to come with you? Questioned the red-haired girl. As she was in a fighting stance, she attempted to fight Sakura. It's not me who wanted to come with us. It's But Sakura had to dodge a punch from the red-haired girl. I don't want to hear about this. There is no way, absolutely no way I ever come with you. I don't care who want me to. But Sakura vanished and appeared behind the girl, and simply tapped her on her head with a glowing palm, as the girl fell into a deep sleep. Why couldn't I have gotten the psycho, said Sakura, as she picked her up and threw her over her shoulder. After arming the place with the explosive seal, Sakura blew up the entire hideout and the nasty experiments. At the northern hideout, why couldn't I get the weak red head, said Kurosaki, as she dodged the fist, as Jugo blew out the wall. I'll kill you, he said with a mad laugh. As he rushed towards her, Kurosaki went through hand sign, lava style, quick line technique, as she slammed a wave of quick line at the man, which acted like quick, drying cement, mobilizing him. He struggled to move but he couldn't. The jutsu was too powerful for him to break. As she walked up and placed a seal that Naruto gave her on his forehead, cutting off his chakra, placing him into a large, deep sleep. That should do it, she said, but she then realized that she had to carry him out of there. You owe me for this, Sasuke, he said. A few minutes later, she got outside with him. She slammed her hands on the ground. Earth release. Sandwich technique, she said, as both ends of the hideout started to rumble, as two giant domes came up. They came together and smashed the hideout to pieces, destroying everything inside, as it then stomped down, burying it under the ground. All of the test subjects were already dead, as she already killed them. As she went back to the rendezvous point. Meanwhile, Jiraiya entered the room to see Orochimaru regurgitate himself. That would would have probably killed or incapacitate a normal man, seeing that Jiraiya put a lot of force into it. But Orochimaru simply shredded his skin. Of course you will be here. I should have known, Orochimaru said, as he regurgitated his blade, as he held it in his hand. I will kill you, Jiraiya, and afterwards I will absorb that Uchiha boy once his mother is finished with him. Jiraiya chuckled a bit. Even if Kushina and Mikoto are powerful, there is no way Naruto and Sasuke would lose. They're probably holding back a lot because they just want to talk to their mothers. Now, they would probably be here soon to watch me kick your ass up and down. As Jiraiya's eyes then changed a bit, as he didn't went full Frog Sage mode. His pupil became bar-like, and his eyes became golden, and around it became orange. As he smiled, I would have to thank Naruto for this, he said. I am officially a complete sage, said Jiraiya with a smile. Now, Orochimaru, it's only fitting that I kill you after what you did. Orochimaru chuckled. You think you're the only one that knows sage mode, he said. As horns started to grow from his head, and a purple line came around his eyes, as his hair started to grow out longer down into his back, as the both of them sprint towards each other. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sasuke were in hell, as their clothes were torn, as they were fighting their mothers, which were completely fine. Naruto, are you okay? Kushina asked, as she was the one actually dealt in a beating on him. Yeah, I'm fine. You need to stop holding back that much, she said. What? I'm giving it my all. No, you're not. She's right, said Mikoto. Even in the fireball fight earlier, Sasuke, you could have utilized your chakra and pushed me back. The both of you spend 90% of your time just dodging. You're not really fighting us. Not to mention, Naruto, you haven't even used your Jinchuki power. You know they're right, said Kurama. You haven't even gone Sage mode. The only thing you've been doing is dodging. Because you're subconsciously taking it easy on her because she's your mother. You're trying not to defeat her so you can spend as much time with her as possible. The Uchiha kid is doing the same. I understand that you want to see her as long as possible, but if you keep this up, you will lose. They will keep on reforming no matter what you do, and you will just keep on getting cuts and tired. As Naruto stared into his mother's eyes for a few seconds, before nodded. You're right, Mom. I'm sorry, he said, as an orange cloak started to form around him as Naruto went under KCM mode as the markings appear in his body. I understand, Naruto. I understand completely. But I need to be back by your father's side. His soul finally came to the place where mine was, and I would really enjoy being with him. As Sasuke walked up to Naruto and fist bumped with him, as Sasuke's body became covered in a red cloak. Just like old times. Let's do this, Sasuke said. The both of them vanished in a burst of speed that surprised their mothers. Fire style, Toad Flame Bomb. As Naruto spewed out oil from his mouth, as Sasuke fired off an enormous fireball. As they were behind Mikoto and Kushina, as a huge explosion went off. Sasuke 8 o'clock, as he looked over at Mikoto as he created 10 clones. To stall her, we will take care of Kushina first. Sasuke nodded. You've grown into a fine leader over the years, Naruto. And this fireball that I just fired off was far greater than my original. And you've been handling this chakra all this time. How good are you now? Sasuke thought. As Naruto dashed towards his mother, Sasuke blinked in front of Naruto in a second as he swung a kick towards Kushina. Kushina ducked under the kick as she received a harsh punch from Naruto that sent her sailing back. A clone then appeared behind her and grabbed her. It then exploded. As the both of them waited until Kushina walked out. She was covered in the same cloak of chakra. You would have had me, but if I didn't have this. Sees my mother managed to steal some of my chakra. Probably from that punch earlier, or when my clone had her in the hug. Naruto's eyes then narrowed. Sasuke, your mother has... As Mikoto walked out, as she jumped beside Mikoto, as she was in a yellow cloak. It wasn't the cloak, it was the forming of the Susanoo. I have seen a lot of things in my time, Sasuke, including my own best friend's death. It happened the night of the Kyuubi attack, said Mikoto, as she slowly opened her eyes. Her Sharingan design was now 3 thin lines, as they were swirling towards the pupil, as her Susanoo was flaring around her, as a humanoid being started to grow around her. As Kushina stepped forward, as she was shrouded in the Kyuubi's chakra, as the both of them were to take on their sons again. As Kushina stepped inside of Mikoto's Susanoo, as the upper half of Naruto grew, as it exploded outwards, creating the fox. As Sasuke stepped inside, as they started to sprint towards each other with Susanoo versus Kurama. Meanwhile, both Jiraiya and Orochimaru were in different hand signs. Sage Art. Harini the Senbon, said Jiraiya as his hair covered his entire body, as his hair pointed towards Orochimaru and fired towards him. Sage Art, Wind Style. Great breakthrough, Orochimaru said, as a violent gust of wave blew away all of Jiraiya's pointed needles. As Orochimaru's Wind Style kept up, as it blew Jiraiya straight into the wall, as he smashed right into it, as Orochimaru chuckled. As Jiraiya came out of it, it seems your Sage Mode gives you extra powers. Your skin is like steel now, I see. Told you toads are better than snakes. All you got were those stupid ass horns and that feminine purple eyeliner that run all the way down your back, said Jiraiya smirk as he noticed Orochimaru placed his hand on weird hand signs. And by the way, how do you have your arms? I heard that sensei sealed them away. Of all the things your disciple is, he's really clumsy. I'm assuming one day that he found the dead god mask. Flashback. 6 months ago, Naruto, age 18. Naruto, where the hell are we? Jiraiya asked as he looked towards a rundown building. What is this? He said as he then looked at the sign. Uzumaki Clan, Mass, Storage Temple. As Naruto nodded. Surprise, huh? How did no one know about this? And if they did, why didn't they tell me about this? Even if it wasn't proven at that time that there was a Uzumaki. My last name was Uzumaki before. So this technically belonged to me, right? Well, I guess so, said Jiraiya. As Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder, and the both of them vanished and appeared inside. So what are you... as Jiraiya noticed a mask on the wall. As Naruto went over to it, "Is that the Shinigami's face?" said Jiraiya surprised. As Naruto nodded, "Wait, what are you gonna do with it?" "I'm going to free the souls of those trapped, meaning Sarutobi, Hashirama, Tobirama, my dad, and the other half of Kurama." "How did you know about Kurama?" told me, Naruto said. "Plus you told me of what Jiji, Summoning Monkey, said, him using it as well. But anyway, this is going to hurt, but it has to be done." As the markings of his sage mode start to appear on his face. "And I'll need sage mode if I ever hope to not die. And if I do die, tell Yujito, Tsunade, Shizune, yourself, and Tauntaun that I'm sorry and I'll miss them and sorry I did something so stupid." Jiraiya gulped as he watched his student commit a dangerous, nearly suicidal act. "I'll do that," he said, as he stood near in case Naruto needed his help. Naruto put on the mask as he placed his arm in a seal. "Dead demon consuming seal. Release," Naruto said in a dark, demonic voice. As the Shinigami then appeared and stabbed itself in its stomach and ripped it out, as several souls came out of it. "Naruto," Jiraiya said, as blood was leaking from Naruto's stomach as well, as he seemed like he was almost cut in half. As Naruto collapsed over, laying down in the face of his own blood. Jiraiya then came closer, as he looked at Naruto. "You're not even close to dying. Maybe I'll just tell Yujito what you nearly did." Naruto quickly jumped up, as he now had a large rip in his shirt. "No, I'm fine. How cool is my sage mode though? Regeneration ability amazing, right? Alright, so now what?" As Naruto placed his hand in the Ram seal, one of the souls, the largest one in the room, flies straight into Naruto, as his entire body glow orange. "You feel that, Kurama?" Naruto asked. As Naruto went into his mindscape, "Yo," said a voice, as he saw another Kurama behind him, but this one fur was darker. "This is Naruto. It's a pleasure to meet you." But guys, be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. But for now, I'm out. See you guys soon. Peace.